Alrighty, I'm gonna record this. I guess, yeah. I'll send this out tomorrow. So, Richard Wolff, Dr. Richard Wolff. What about him? Overall, Richard Wolff to me is mug co-op guy. That's all anyone has ever said about him. Mug co-ops. That's all it is. Mug co-ops. That's all he's pretty much known for. I think he's just a boring old man, frankly. He's not. The thing is that this is something that people have to get over. People have to get over. Oh, we need as many people as we can to convert people to the left as possible. Nobody cares. To me, I need to read books like 48 Laws of Power. But the thing is, though, is that you don't appeal to someone's humanity or to their conscience. You appeal to their self-interest. And the thing is that lefties online in general are very bad about trying to tell people about their own self-interest. Or they talk about it they talk about it briefly, but they don't really go into depth. So if people want socialism, you should promote the idea of protecting jobs. At least the idea, but not to say that it'll actually happen. And they should promote the ideas of, people should have pensions. And they should be able to, not get screwed over because a company lets their, whatever department, put it into the giant casino called Wall Street. And to do that, and that money should be protected. I think that's a very basic thing in terms of personal interest. It's the same thing with, wanting time off for this and that. Yeah. It is discussed, but the moral arguments are much more upfront, are much more upfront in terms of the, I'm just going to say it, in the promotion of the idea of socialism in the U.S. And that's a mistake. That's a huge mistake. And I would say is that this kind of leads to the whole, socialism is when the government does stuff, basically. It's just like, it doesn't always have to be that way. There's a very specific thing. I saw this because everybody's talking about it now. It seems like, Richard Wolff always seems like this guy who's like, there are a lot of old folks that watch his channel, or, maybe these older shit libs watch his channel. But how many younger folks are really listening to Richard Wolff? And how many people were exposed to Richard Wolff being on Destiny? It's like, who knows how many, did he convert people? I don't know. It's just like, I think that most of, Destiny's audience are pretty much just omni-liberals anyway, right? Isn't that what Destiny calls themselves? So it's like they've already made up their mind. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But I'm not going to sit here and talk. We already talked about the debate. Don't worry. But I saw that, of course, he also talked to Hakeem, which to me, I just kind of felt like, to me, is a cheap ploy by Hakeem. It's like, no, if you want to be a pan-Arabist, talk to some pan-Arabists who speak English, man. Do that. Or translate it. Do that. Why pander to your audience and bring on Richard Wolff? It's like a lot of people know who Richard Wolff is, but they just think he's a meme. They think he's a joke. He's this old man. He's an economist, this and that. It's just like, okay, yeah. It's just silly, to be honest. It's just silly to me. And of course, you see, it's so ironic, of course, because you see people like Finnish Bolshevik who fall into the trap that people like Vosh have set, where it's just like, people need to know about socialism. They need to read about it. And, it's like, no, Vosh already won that argument. It's like, that's not even me defending Vosh. That's just me saying is that, Tankies, you've been owned, You can go ahead and say he hasn't, but it's just like, yeah, he has been able to change the narrative in terms of that. I think that it's just, maybe I'll try to make this into a video by itself. I think I'll do that next. But I think that now that Trump is gone, people are starting to see that their favorite creators who came up about 2016, people like Justin King, are pretty much just going to shill for Biden. They're not going to get angry at him. Even though Joe Biden is finishing the wall, even though, Joe Biden's administration is providing military-grade weapons and vehicles to police forces, more than Trump did. But he's better than Trump. And we see that a lot of the hashtag resistance has already left. They've already gone to brunch. And I know the people that, a lot of the, the TRS folks have already talked about this a little bit, but it's just like, that is what has occurred. And I think Richard Wolff still kind of represents that idea, even though, yeah, I would imagine he's still anti-Biden, but it's just like, he still represents that sort of idea. He still represents that group of people, and it's just like, well, okay, yeah, that's where we are. I don't know how to finish this. I guess I would just say is that this is where the political force goes. Is that now we're just kind of stuck in this malaise, right? Where it's like we saw, the failure and the disillusionment of the MAGA-pedes and everything else to a point, at least the smarter ones, after 2017, the Wig Nats. And of course, we saw the failure of people like Bernie Sanders, right? And people are still coping about that. People are still angry, but it's just like, and then of course we see the squad and all that other stuff happen. And, people are despondent. They're upset. They're not necessarily leaving politics, but they are waiting for somebody else to come along, right? They're waiting for a new person. I'll tell you this right now. There are no new people that are going to be rising in the next 2 or 3 years. At least, not on a big level yet. Maybe I could be proven wrong on that. But it's just like, in general, there is no new person that's rising. Whether they're left wing or right wing, there is none. You had, your people like Richard Spencer or whatever, but he continued to make a fool of himself. You see people like Bernie Sanders continue to make fools of themselves, and they're just like, well, actually, you need to support Biden because reasons. And it goes to show that these people do not want any real change. They don't want anything. They just want to keep the status quo. But people are still going to push it. People are still going to continue with it. Oh, screw it. Let's just go ahead and do. I'm just going to go ahead and just make a slash. I'm going to go ahead and do people like Richard Wolff slash the lack of leadership in politics. I'm just going to call it that. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead. Let me go ahead and edit that now. Let me see here. Yeah, it's still going. All right, so let me go ahead and do that. People like Richard Wolff slash lack of political leaders. I'm going to do in 2020, in 2021. There we go. Hold on. Okay, I think we're done. See you later. Goodbye.